Hello, and welcome to today's episode of Retro Tech Research. I just had a great conversation with Kat from GG Strains about Gorilla Glue or GG4. We'll get into the history of all that in a second here. And we talked about just the history of it, everything that they went through to make the strain. And we're going to create a whole in-depth documentary about the lawsuit, the different trails that they had to trace the lineage through when people were getting cuts of it to make sure that it was real Gorilla Glue. But right now, I thought I'd go over some of the information that's just out there on the internet, starting with this article from Alchemia, and let's just see what it says. Let's see what you guys think. So, don't know about. Okay, so the origins of GG4, RIP Josie Wales. So the person, Kat, who I talked to, runs the company now, and she was best friends with Josie Wales and helped do a lot of their logistics back in the day. So here we go. The origins of GG4. This week began with the sad news that GG4 co-creator Josie Wales, aka Don Peabody, had died. He passed away in Las Vegas on May 6th at the age of 69 years old, doing what he loved most, and is survived by his wife, Angela, and their two children. We'd like to take this opportunity to pay our respects and pass on our deepest condolences to his family, and at the same time, tell you a little bit about his enormous impact on cannabis culture. So here we go. Don Peabody, or Josie Wales, and Lone Waddy, his business partner, winning a cup here. Over the past few years, Josie and Lone Waddy, under the banner of GG Strains, had been working to provide licensed, verified versions of their genetics for producers and dispensaries in legal states. These varieties were not only restricted to original glue, sister glue, and new glue, but also included some new hybrids, such as Purple Glue, Las Vegas Purple Kush X GG4, and Glucci, Cheese X GG4. Several collaborations with other breeders had also been started, so with a bit of luck, some of these will come to fruition soon. In a statement, Catherine Franklin, operations manager, that's who I talked to at GG Strains, has announced that they plan to honor its founders' legacies through the company's cultivars and ongoing collaborations with breeders. This is going to be cool. Hopefully they have some new things coming out. This is a plant that should need no introduction. And even if you've never smoked it or grown it, you're bound to have heard people talk about it, even if it's only in the rhymes of your favorite rapper. There's a famous Jay-Z line where he talks about Gorilla Glue. Famous for its resin-caked flowers and potent effect, testing as high as 30% THC in laboratory analysis, it is a stretchy sativa indica hybrid with a distinctive and delicious blend of chocolate, coffee, pine, and lemon citrus aromas and flavors. The medicinal effects are profound, offering physical relief from pain whilst fighting anxiety. Indeed, after Josie Wales underwent open-heart surgery, GG4 was the only variety that could calm the anxiety he was suffering, and to cope, he would eat a chunk of GG4 hash, which gave him relief from anxiety for as long as a week. So, for some of the details in this article, we're going to talk to Kat and confirm some of them more, but I'm just reading them so we can kind of get all the details out there. This was one of the more extensive articles that I found online, but there were other ones that kind of told a similar story. Like I said, though, we're going to confirm everything with the person who controls the cut now. The incredible resin production and distinctive terpene profile of GG4 have led it to become a staple variety for hash makers all across the world, giving exceptional returns in all methods of extraction, from the solventless techniques of rosin or ice water hash to CO2 and hydrocarbon extractions like BHO. This characteristic of phenomenal trichome production and the readiness with which it is passed on to its offspring has meant that plenty of cannabis breeders and seed companies have incorporated GG4 into their genetic library in the form of many exciting hybrids. So despite there being no official GG strains available here in Europe, we're still able to enjoy the outstanding qualities that this amazing plant offers. Currently, our seed catalog contains around 50 varieties with GG4 genetics, from imaginative hybrids such as Archeem's Sublimator Sour Banana X GG4 and Early Gorilla by Philosopher Seeds GG4 X Early Meroc to multiple S1 reproductions and plenty of auto-flowering versions to choose from too. These days, there's no excuse to not have a gorilla in your grow room, depending where you get it, which we'll talk about in our upcoming documentary. Okay, the origins of GG4. The GG4 story begins in 2009 when Joesy decided to take up growing and smoking again after a long hiatus due to working for 20 years as a crane operator. So, what I heard from Kat was that he kind of did still grow, but it was off and on. So, I don't know. We'll confirm that. Um, which meant he had to pass regular drug tests. As a first step, he joined the ICMag online cannabis forum, International Canographic Magazine, where he went by the name Grizz and started to make friends. At that time, it was difficult to find good genetics, and nobody seemed willing to share their prize cuts. An exception to this were two growers and breeders he met on the forums, Grey Skull and Zoolander, who offered some of their elite clones to Grizz. As a result, Grizz is Joesy, as we just said. As a result, the three of them met up in a parking lot in Barstow, California to hand over the plants, which were a cut of Sour Dub, Sour Diesel, and Sour Dub, which is Sour Diesel X Sour Bubble, and what they thought at the time was a clone of Chem D, but was actually mislabeled and turned out to be Chem's sister. At some point around the same period, Joesy also acquired a clone of Chocolate Diesel, Sour Diesel X Chocolate Trip from another source. These three plants became the backbone of his indoor growing operation. So I think this is mostly accurate from what I was told. I don't know if they all met up at the exact same time in the parking lot, but that did happen, I was told. And these were the strains he was working with. Accidental pollination. Oops. What happened? Oh, there we go. Accidental pollination. Sometime after this, Joesy was running a 1-gallon pot stadium grow with the cuts of Chocolate Diesel, Sour Dub, and Chem's Sister, alongside some hybrids of Chem's Sister X Sour Dub. These last hybrids came from seeds made by Russ Johnson, aka Lone Waddy, his partner in GG Strains, who tragically passed away just under a year before Joesy at the age of 61. After a security scare caused by an unexpected and unrelated visit from the police, Joesy was obligated to dismantle his entire garden, around 80 plants in total, and move the whole setup to a friend's house before the next day. After a week or so of waiting, he felt that the coast was clear again, so he retrieved the plants and set up the grow once more. However, the stress of moving houses twice in the course of just a few days led the Chem Sis X Sour Dub plants to Hermy, i.e., it displayed intersex traits and produced male flowers, pollinating the entire room in the process. Joesy wasn't at all happy and ended up giving most of the weed away. But luckily, his friend Marlin, aka Mar Dog, kept some of the resulting seeds just in case, popping the seed that changed it all. Around a year and a half later, Joesy and Mardog set up a grow together and, with some trepidation, started a few of the saved seeds that came from the Chocolate Diesel. Ever vigilant for hermaphrodite traits, given the provenance of the seeds from these 5 or 6 seeds, they ended up with 4 females, one of which was a runt almost identical to Sour Dub, and was later rejected. The 3 remaining plants were GG1, aka Sister Glue, GG2, and GG4, aka Original Glue. As you probably know, the hybrid was originally named Gorilla Glue because of the way the sticky trichromes glued up the scissors while trimming. What I was told is that his hand stuck to his flip phone, old Motorola flip phone, so it literally was sticking to his fingers. That's what I was told in the interview earlier. Named Gorilla Glue because of the way the sticky trichomes glued up the scissors while trimming. But in 2017, the name was discontinued after legal action from the manufacturers of the Gorilla Glue brand of adhesives. GG1 remains very closely guarded by the GG strain team, and very, very few growers indeed have been trusted with it thus far. GG1 has, however, been crossed with GG4 to produce GG5, aka New Glue, GG2, which was given to a Michigan grower after but was unfortunately lost at some point, so very little is known about it now. Shang is Kang. Once it became clear to Joesy and their crew that they had a truly special plant in their hands, the GG4 cut was generously shared with fellow growers via IC Mag on the condition that it was always to be given for free by word of mouth to deserving growers. Joesy wanted so, and I was told that they kept track of everyone they gave the cuts to, leased or rented through various agreements. So we're gonna talk about all of that in future videos. Joesy wanted to show the same spirit of generosity as Grayskull and Zoolander had done with him, so he shared it with the circle of growers in California first. Over the following years, the clone gained a stellar reputation not only among those growers lucky enough to have a clone, but also among cannabis connoisseurs and hash makers alike. This reputation was cemented in 2014 when GG4 won first place at the High Times Cup in both Michigan and Los Angeles, to the great surprise of Joesy and Lone Waddy. They didn't know it at the time, but these would be just the first of many, many more trophies to follow over the coming years. Yeah, we're gonna find a list of as many as possible and go through all the awards GG4 has won. Unfortunately, it also didn't take long for the cut to fall foul of industry greed, and despite Josie's intention that it should always be given freely, unscrupulous growers and dispensaries began selling GG4 clones in huge numbers, sometimes demanding outrageous sums for this highly sought after clone, and often distributing fake cuts too, something that upset him greatly. Described by those who knew him as a really nice guy, a grumpy old breeder, and a truly humble character, tales of Josie's generosity abound in the cannabis community, where he will be sorely missed. At the same time, he achieves a kind of immortality with his work living on in ganja gardens all over the world, bringing joy to countless growers and smokers. R.I.P. Joesy, thank you for everything you did and for sharing this wonderful plant with the world. We're going to smoke a fat joint of GG4 right now as a tribute to your life. Here's to you. So, this article published by, okay, anyway, see what the comments say. But before we do that, pretty interesting, right? The whole history of it. It didn't talk too much about the lawsuit, but we'll go into that in future videos. So we're going to kind of talk to Kat, see where this narrative is correct. And it seemed mostly overall, from what she had told me, pretty accurate. And then go through that, find some of the more interesting stories of tracing back cuts from people who all of a sudden had a cut and they didn't know where it came from. But it sounds like it's a story full of immense loyalty in the Gorilla Glue fandom, the Glue crew. So let's see. Let's look at this again. Oops. So yeah, let's look at some of these comments. I was given a Josie Wells GG4 cutting, and it turned out wonderful outdoor. 11 feet tall, about 3-pound dry weight, 17 THC, minimal feed. Hi, John Boy. You're a lucky guy then. I guess resin production was simply astounding. Cheers. Danny Alchemia, Tim Alchemia. I'm want to talk to these people about some of the strain research they've done because I use their website a lot for finding information, and I'd love to talk to them. I've been trying to get a hold of the new glue, and I have asked almost every seed bank and grower I know. Is there anyone who has any male, female seeds? If so, please let me know how I can obtain them. R.I.P. Josie, you will forever live in the hearts of us cannabis cultivators. You did wonders. Thanks for the ability to be able to have some of your work to me. It's a passion. To get ability to be able to give some of your work to me. Anyway, hi, Billy. Thanks for your commitment. I think that GG Farms were originally planning to release regular seeds of the glue, but I'm not sure if that's ever happened or not. Currently, I can only find a GG4 S1 BX5 in regular seeds from Elevate Seeds, a US bank that we do stock, although we don't have their regular seeds at the moment. We'll try to find and get some in stock. I hope that helps. Best wishes and happy growing. So I think she did say something about Elevate and a few other seed banks, but if you want to find Gorilla Glue seeds, just trace it through GG Strains. They're the original creators and they know what to do. But thank you for watching this episode of Retro Tech Research. And yeah, thanks. Let me know what you think. We're going to kind of compare, we're going to look at some more sources and then we will compare them to the actual interviews that we do going forward. So thank you for watching and have a good day.